Hey, good evening. Good evening. This is Jem. How are you doing? I just wanted to come on here. I am changing or creating this channel because I'm one of those people. I watch YouTube a lot, and I've started noticing that there are a lot of people um, who have channels for different things. And I just wanted to kind of create something that's a little bit different. I want to kind of bring in where faith and education can collide and can actually create a wonderful synergy and connection. So we're no longer separated on two polar ends, but we're connected. And the one thing that I want to talk about with faith and education is understanding identity. I want to be your cheerleader, so understand that I am encouraging whoever is listening to this video that whatever your experience is, that is your experience. Now, other people can say, no, that's not what happened, but people have experiences. They go through the same event, they can have the same traumatic experience, but they have a different reality of that experience. And sometimes it is jaded by their personal harsh traumatic event that coincided with it, or they had a very glowing or very positive experience in something. So, okay, for example, let me just go into this real quick. So if I watched my father, which I did, watched my father abuse my mother, and my sister also witnessed the same things. We experienced living in an abusive home. My sister and I both made choices in our lives that we either avoided that same situation or we confronted that same situation or experienced it or whatever. We dealt with it in our own ways. My sister and I are only 16 months apart. Our experiences are very, very similar to each other. However, our interpretation of the same events are definitely different than our mother's interpretation. And I think that our mother didn't even realize until as we've gotten older and we've gotten more verbal and comfortable telling her what we remember, that she understands that she could have made choices, but she also was raised in a different culture, different expectation that you don't divorce, you don't leave, you don't do, you just kind of like you deal with it. And my mom's about to turn 80 next year, and I can't even imagine what it would have been like for her as a witness to what she went through, that she profoundly was affected by that, and it shaped everything. Once my father left and they did finally divorce, I would think I was almost 20, so it's been about 30 years, over 30 years that they've been divorced. My father's since passed on, and that experience, she did remarry, but it did not last long. She didn't want to stay in another abusive relationship, because she got lonely when my sister and I left. So my sister and I, we had different experiences with even that, because I was in Korea and my sister was present when my mom was going through her second marriage. And so my sister and I, our experiences with men in marriage have been completely different than each other. And we were raised in the same home. When I was talking to my sister a couple months ago, she remembers a different life than I do. I'm older than her, where I understand things or I remember things that she does not. Um, and it's definitely something that I don't want to bring her issues up, but it's definitely something that makes me understand her a lot more, because I need to give her more grace, because she does not have the same experience that I have. And saying that, I just want to go into a little bit more about my name. My mother named me Jennifer, but I go by Jemn. And you probably are going, what is she talking about? So, Jemn is my God given name. It happened by accident, but it was very, very organic. It started in middle school, but as I've gotten older, I've re embraced that name because I'm no longer Jenny, my daddy's little girl, or Jenny, my mama's little girl, or Jen. But for my friends who recognize and know me with the same experiences that we had, I'm okay with them calling me Jen. I'm okay with them referring to me as Jennifer at times. But the people that know who I am now and know the identity I carry now, they know my name is Jemn. And I have not legally changed my first name because of my mother. She's very uncomfortable with me changing it because she believes that's the name she gave me and that's the name she wants me to have. Well, I've had a different experience with God. And so I'm just going to let it kind of slide like Jacob let it slide whenever they said the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't say Israel, but they named the nation Israel. So I'm just saying, there's name changes that happen. And I had my own Peniel moment and I fought with God, and I am a truly different person than that person I once was. And so when people call me Jennifer, when people call me Jenny, when people call me Jen, which please don't ever call me Jenny, because I don't know why, but that one's like, that's like, whew. But Jem is the name that God has, we wrestled and we understand each other. But I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, so I don't want to go too far. But the name change was effective for me, and it has helped me stay in my new identity. And saying that, part of this, going back to the reason for this channel, is I want to keep education and I want to keep faith and try to put them together in a unified space and not necessarily separated. Because so many times we have, oh, praise the Lord, but in education, we can't do that. Today there's so many issues, and we're going to talk about some of these issues in education today. I am currently an educator, so I have to be very careful of some of the topics that I address, but I'm not indoctrinating students, but I want to discuss how faith and being a public education teacher can be a blessing and not a curse. It can be an encouragement to our character and witness to others who are not believers. And so this is the channel that I hope that I can bring some encouragement. I am coaching this year. This will be my 16th year in education, and this is the first year that I will be completely out of the classroom. And so I'm looking forward to that. I know it's going to be quite a challenge. I know that it's going to be, uh, beyond what I could have ever thought. That I could get into, but God knows all about it. So I just want to encourage you, please, if you are interested in this type of topic, please hit the subscribe button and hit that, like the button and the bell if you want to. I'm new to this, so it's going to be a learning curve, but help me, encourage me, just share those things with me that you that have encouraged you. But remember, faith and education can blend together. They don't have to be a separate entity. And as an educator who has a strong belief system, you don't have to push your beliefs on other people. But, the one thing that the word says is to love those love everyone. That's what I'm required to do. So, having said that, I want to thank you. Please make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Have a great night.